Welcome, everybody, to the Tipped and Sip podcast with your hosts, Scrooge McBoogerballs and Penis in my butt. Can we get introduce yourself? Shut up.
Yeah,
okay, take the mask off. Can we get onto the thing? People, it's Halloween, but the scariest thing is really among us. Take it off. You look like a moron. Even though I just had it on a second ago, but I don't look like a dummy anymore because I conform to everybody else.
This is every day with this guy.
No. Headphones on. All right, it's the Halloween episode that's not coming out on Halloween because none of you even want to watch it on Halloween. So let's.
Yeah, we could have lived this.
You're done.
Get into it.
No, you're done. It's not your turn. No one hosts the show today.
I don't know what you're even.
It's penis and butt. It's
yeah.
Scrooge McBoogerballs.
I shouldn't be here. Let's get it rolling though. Apparently, you want to get it rolling.
I really do because I saw this article.
Yeah.
And it made me want to think about running for office.
What's in your mouth?
Can you
spit that out?
Do your job.
What are you doing? You're literally broadcasting your voice. Take that.
Minion.
Take the shit out of your mouth. Spit it out.
Okay, here we go. Oh, it's gone.
Okay. Well, all right. Are we doing this article? Or...
Yeah. All right, here we go. I don't know if anyone heard about this. It's the Facebook papers, what you need to know about the trove of insider documents. Ooh, whistleblowers. Ooh. And written by Bill Chappelle, Twitter's 9 to 11 minute read. Coincidence?
Interesting.
Coincidence?
I like that.
All right. They always pick the most deathly pictures of Mark Zuckerberg. They really do.
It's really on the money.
They clearly edit them too. Like they take the gray out. They either make it like more yellow or they make it more gray.
They saturate it and they like the clarity or like the sharpness way
they're
up.
trying to get it as close to his soul as possible, which is like this real voidal sociopathic energy.
Yeah.
Which we need to be careful talking about Zuckerberg because we do have a Facebook page and he's got shootahs out here. All right. What?
I said he'll zuck you.
He'll zuck you.
Yeah, so this is the Facebook paper. So pretty much somebody had there was a whistleblower at Facebook that released a bunch of emails or just, communications inside Facebook. They're pretty much what's happening is that we're realizing that everybody forgot that Facebook's not just in America. All right, it's the entire world. So the documents known collectively as the Facebook papers were shared in redacted form with Congress after whistleblower Frances Haugen, a former Facebook product manager, disclosed them to the Securities and Exchange Commission. Haugen alleges that trove of statements and data prove that Facebook leaders have repeatedly and knowingly put the company's image and profitability ahead of public good, even at risk of violence and other harm. Now, here's the thing. I would be okay with that. If they just weren't so annoying about it. You know what I mean? Like, I wish, you read this document and Facebook's like, oh, we didn't mean to do all these things. And they talk about, January 6th and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's a little like goblins talking. And But then they're like, this company, they keep having to make the statement that they're not, truth police.
Yeah.
But, every post on Facebook, whether it's rest in peace Bob Marley post has this is the fact checking about COVID. I mean,
right. Anybody who's dead from a thing,
anything
is like. Did you know that COVID actually vaccines are available?
It'll be about your a vigil for your grandma, and you'll be like, see why this isn't true.
Or it'll be something about a virus, like a computer virus or something, and it'll be like COVID. It bookmarks words and it just hits all those.
You go to the McAfee page and it's just lit up.
Yeah,
every post,
just every post. That page has been shadow banned actually.
But pretty much, here we go. Facebook employees hotly debated its policies, especially after January 6th. Now you think it would have been after the countless of times people tried to maybe live stream a shooting.
Yeah,
Or-
like a mosque, shooting
Or,
70 people.
Facebook, yeah. So January 6th was a very important day for Facebook because, that was the banning of Donald Trump, both on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
But a lot of people within Facebook felt that Facebook played a huge part in inciting the violence. Now, here's the thing. It's in the same way that people think that corporations are like people, that they forget that corporations, like when they see like the Instagram account responding to people or the TikTok Arby's account.
Yeah, like the Netflix account, and it's like, are you guys ready for
Right. That is their attempt at humanizing the corporation.
Right.
What people don't understand, or I think they do understand, but we forget, is the internet is this conglomerate. It is this human hive mind that's constantly buzzing and sending information to and fro all over the world. But it exists in this voidal, seemingly limitless space, right?
Right.
I think we forgot that Facebook is still a bunch of people sitting at home at the end of the day.
Right.
Like Facebook is not
the users, the billions of users.
Right. They're
That's where
not
it
the
is.
arbiters of truth, nor should they be. I'm not defending Facebook, but because there are stuff that they do lack on. I remember listening to someone who was like upset that they were like, Facebook's not doing enough to take down, fake news about the COVID vaccine. And it's like, well, the best way to stop spreading, misinformation about the COVID vaccine is to stop having people who believe in it.
What do you mean?
Like, for the idea to exist, you need to have the people who believe in it. You can't have January 6th without the people who showed up.
Right.
We forget.
But we also forget that like Facebook wasn't the beginning of any of these things that are happening today. I mean, especially the people who were, who showed up on January 6th, that was not the beginning for them.
QAnon didn't start on Facebook.
No, exactly. QAnon started like years ago.
Right.
Like and I'm saying that like the way that things are right now, the way that Facebook manipulates the minds of people, that process that was made easier by the last like 30, 40 years.
Right. I think
before even the internet.
Honestly, like taking cheap, listen, Facebook isn't good. There's a lot of bullshit happening all over the world that Facebook is doing. But all Facebook really does is they profit off of magnifying the negative parts of people's consciousness. That's what's happening.
They realize that the information that people see in the real world only exists in their heads. So if you can make things get, like if you can like get as close to somebody's psychological state as possible, then they essentially win.
Right.
That's what they figured out. That's what TikTok figured out.
Well, they're making all these false realities for people inside the Facebook world. And people get lost in them. But here's the thing. If it wasn't Facebook, it'd be a different company. Because we're not dealing with a problem with Facebook. We're dealing with the what happens when you take this hairless monkey and you give it access to limitless information, and that hairless monkey with the ability to pattern search, constantly looking for patterns, finds its way of trying to find a group identity as quickly and fast as possible. And then when you constantly give that hairless monkey other people who don't like them,
or other people who like were just as easily misled, just as easily manipulated,
they want to double down. We're just experiencing ignorance. People are doubling down on their ignorance because they don't care to learn. But to be fair, if it wasn't Facebook, a lot of people wouldn't care to learn either way. It's just now that they have this platform where they can meet a lot more people than just maybe other people at their work or at a diner, their friends, or at church. Now they get to meet hundreds and thousands of people with, through the mediums of YouTube channels, TikTokers, Facebook pages that have thousands and thousands of more people following them. I mean, this is why YouTube justifies taking down certain YouTubers is because they look at Steven Crowder and they go, well, you're taking all these maniacs and putting them in the same place, and we need you to stop doing that.
Well, the problem is that, and it's safe to say this at this point, I think this is something people have like just felt and just randomly started. They've talked about so much that it becomes a casual thing to say. It becomes obvious that we've done the wrong thing with technology and social media.
You know, I read
this
that.
is the wrong.
I read that in the book.
What book? Oh,
it was a guy named I don't know. Not a lot of people know, but his name is Ted Kaczynski. Great author. Such a way with words. Really,
he's really articulate.
He was so articulate. It was. It's almost explosive. Listen, it's all coming to an end. Can we get up the meta thing? So here we go. So the same company who can't, ban like 20,000 people or some shit like that, and their entire like company wants to kill each other. What is this? Yeah, look at. In countries like Afghanistan, Myanmar, these loopholes have allowed inflammatory language to flourish on the platform, the AP reports, while in Syria and the Palestinian territories, Facebook suppresses ordinary speech, imposing blanket bans on common words. They're fine. It's all over the world, people. They're having January 6s like all over the world, and the news spends too much time talking about Alec Baldwin, so they can't actually get to this part. They don't really, because at the same time, every news anchor that maybe steps out of line, is gonna have an accident. They're gonna have a happy accident. What is it? Yeah. So if you heard, know this.
Yeah.
Facebook is a big company that includes Instagram, Facebook, the app, the website, and WhatsApp. But now Facebook is changing to Meta. So now Meta owns
Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp.
Yes, just like when Google
just the parent company
made Alphabet Company.
Yeah,
same thing, same ordeal. We're dealing with the same demons here, different name. So
honestly,
that's okay.
a creepier name. Right, it's a much more like poignant name to what social media is. It's meta. It's like it's a metaphysical plane. Like it's not you can only access it through electronics.
Mark Zuckerberg thinks he's postmodern.
He does, and it's really annoying because
way too many Jordan Peterson videos.
The real, the true postmodernist.
All right,
JP.
So, where's the Facebook is changing to Meta. The company's metaverse ambitions. More on that dystopian hellscape in a moment. See, they think they're so coy saying that. This is CNN Business too.
That's what's even
biting
worse
the hand
is that
feeds, if you ask me.
The article is using these weird like buzzwords to like dystopian,
right?
Like
Look at this.
that's dystopian to be writing something that like saying this is the super dystopian.
The name change news capped a bizarre techno fever dream of a product presentation introducing the so-called metaverse. That's just cringe.
It is. He's a nerd. He's a fucking dork.
Well,
we
the
gave
person
these
who
dorks
wrote
power.
this is a dork as well.
Well, dorks love writing about other dorks.
Because nerds run the world.
Then look at Lex
They're
Fridman.
sad, strange little creatures. See, it's sad because, you can have a really charismatic president, but the president's not a nerd. You know what I mean? The guy who owns, Black Horse or Jamie Dimon, the CEO of Chase Bank, they're nerds, but they're also probably borderline sociopaths. What is the metaverse? What is it? In short, the metaverse is a dream of a future internet straight out of science fiction. No one has set definition of it yet, because it doesn't exist, but Facebook describes it as a set of virtual spaces where you can create and explore with other people who aren't in the same physical space as you. So
a
VR
VR reality.
You mean VR chat?
Yeah.
This exists.
Well, he presented it on like some talk show. Remember, like they all put on like a headset and they were like in this different space, but it was pretty much the same as the newsroom that they were in.
You know what this is good
it's
for?
Weird. It's like it looked like Sims.
This is so all the little goblins in the basement all the little goblins that are growing up on the
Mhm.
on the internet right now,
Mhm.
which some of them are listening to this right now.
It's so that they can get laid somehow and feel something. It's so that they can wet their whistle
I was gonna say,
digitally.
I was more thinking of like, because eventually the people who get to that point won't listen to this podcast anymore, because
They won't
this
have. They will
podcast-
have de-evolved ears and only like be like a certain like this weird blob.
right, their eyes are gonna sink into their head so they can fit more of the screen on
Yeah.
left and right of their eyes.
Yeah.
and so what's happening is that the VR headset's gonna get bigger, but the head itself is gonna get smaller. So So pretty much you're gonna like people who just a lot of people are being socialized on the internet. A lot of my life was socialized on the internet.
Yeah.
I get it, but I still go outside. I still have romantic relationships.
Mhm.
Amazing, I know. But listen, you can't say because you're in a Discord chat and you had like went into the sex room that you got laid. I mean, that's just not how
You
this
also
works.
can't say that you're like this necromancer, cyberpunk. Like you're just like you're a defeated shell of a human.
Because when you put the heads,
And it's not your fault.
When
really.
you take, see, this is good because you can put the headset on and get virtually laid, but then, the sad reality when you take those off is going to set in.
you
And
never
have
want
to
you
look
never
into the
take 'em
mirror.
off. Yeah.
I mean, these people are going to blow their brains out.
Well, here's the thing.
Hopefully, they can do it in virtual reality, and we can have a virtual funeral and a virtual. Dude,
imagine killing yourself virtually and then taking it off and like being like alive still. Like, is that like your afterlife? Is this you forget that you were in virtual reality, and your whole family showed up to your virtual funeral and gave you virtual
What about
condolences?
virtual reality racism?
Oh, God, dude, there's gonna be so. As long as we can still see, that's gonna be a thing.
Looking good, Case. You got.
Oh my God, I didn't even fucking. I thought it was like a stand or something.
That's a fucking good outfit.
That's so sick.
Actually, one thing I do have to say, let's have a conversation about this, because this is what's real. Because what pretty much is that if you thought that like overweight people on college campuses that have nothing else better to do with their life were bad now, wait till they can pretend that there's somebody else when they put the VR headset on and have control to thousands of people. All right,
That's
it's going to be even. I mean,
You call it a catfish? No, that's a Trojan horse.
listen. I have. God, I hate this.
No, I really do. Like, this is the thing we've been talking about. Remember when, like, early episodes we talked on Get a Job or something? We talked about, like, if Mark Zuckerberg does the thing that we think these tech fuckers are going to do, somebody should kill him. Somebody should do something.
Somebody should do something. Well, not.
Like, kill the thing. Kill Facebook. Like, kill the thing. Like, pull the plug on it. You know what I mean? End the career.
Besides the jokes, truly what the most dangerous thing about the metaverse is the fact that we see that Facebook creates, with the internet, creates a alternate identity for people to exist in. They can be louder, more vulgar through this medium of using their phone or their laptop. What worries me about the metaverse, I think people are going to get so into their alternate identity that when it comes time to fight for something in the real world that actually affects people, because mind you, what we're going to forget about this is that the metaverse is only going to be for so many people. And when those people become so disconnected into this false reality, the people that they will forget about the most are the people who can't afford the VR machines.
And who are still out here surviving in the world being regular
who
animals,
can't afford internet, who can't afford housing. We forget them. And then those people who want to live in their alternate reality and most likely have the same disgusting overnight activism, virtue signaling, pretty much endless void of a human that's just regurgitating as much as it consumes, will let everybody die. Because truly, the people who will commit to the metaverse, because it's like almost like taking steroids.
Yeah.
But hold on, listen to my point.
Mhm.
Taking steroids, the people who really will commit to that truly cannot fight for themselves, cannot fight for their own life, so they will not fight for any other cause. And then therefore, truly are worthless. Really.
Because there's no saving that.
No.
Like, especially with the degree of technology that will come from this and how it's already been programmed into the generation that's going to get it. Like, digitally native children, people even kind of in our generation too, are going to be already accustomed to splitting their personality separate from their actual self. But this is an actual becoming of that ultimate personality where you're actually living in the skin.
No, I don't want to sound like this weird like grandpas here, but we're not, because this is such a bigger jump.
Yeah.
Because we can see the psychology of this unraveling now.
This is not just like phones and video games. Like, that's a grandpa talk.
No, this isn't just radio in the household, TVs hitting like the living room.
Boob tube type shit, whatever.
This is, in a way, really preparing people to enter the machine.
Yeah.
This is the beta.
No, genuinely. But it's also... It's disappointing to me, and it's kind of funny, but it's disappointing because the way that science fiction has like depicted this kind of thing, it's a lot more romantic and dramatic and enticing. But now when it's actually on its way, it's coming from this really cheap, like cold, like just boring or like annoying source, which is Facebook.
Well, think about it. Imagine how much power, this is what people aren't thinking about. How much power do you have when you create the reality and the identity that people want to live in, and then you own the code of every piece of information around them? Mm-hmm. You control.
You own their environment.
You own their literal environment
You literally created their environment.
Buying a single piece of land. Mm-hmm. That's what we're talking about. That's we've run out of space. It's not about moving people to new areas and running for local office anymore. It's about creating a fake world where you can own all of it digitally. Mm-hmm. Because manipulate the people in it.
Because you made it and it's your intellectual property. And then they live in it. You rent it out. Because the people will pay.
If anyone else tries to make the metaverse, the fucking Facebook's greatest lawyers and also probably like 5 Blackwater agents will be at that person's door. Truly. We're talking about the like water powered car.
Yeah.
Versus the metaverse. You know, that's what we're on about. So
we're talking about like a future that might be deeply implanted in our culture already. There's a lot of people who will say that science fiction films from the past have, laid the groundwork for us to like, self-sabotage, to be like, oh yeah, we kind of dream of this. We dream of this interconnected, really cool hyperspace, this aesthetic that science fiction has laid for us is not the world we're going to live in.
No. Well, here's the thing.
It's weird.
Hopefully climate change wins. Can we go on the record for that? Because we can't have the metaverse if all these servers in San Francisco are underwater.
Well, guess where they're coming? Midwest, baby.
They are coming here. But guess what? That means they're closer to me.
Yeah, that's true.
Mark. Can we... Marky.
Stay out of Kenosha, boy.
We got shootahs out here. Kenosha gets a little violent after hours.
Hey, Ravager Rittenhouse is going to be our fucking fleet, boy.
Did you see the case? His case is starting Monday. Did you see?
November.
We have to talk about this. Now, let's not make too many comments about this because first of all, A, don't give a shit.
Yeah.
B, it's moronic. Did you see that the judge said that the victims who were shot by Kyle Rittenhouse cannot be
deemed as victims or something? Right?
The plaintiffs can call them victims, but the defendants have the right to call them looters and rioters.
Oh wow. Okay.
So you literally have like a narrative versus another narrative with that.
Totally.
Again, Facebook world.
Yeah.
This is Facebook in real life.
Creeping into Kenosha.
Who gives a shit?
That's what it is. But that's just interesting. We didn't.
I don't want to talk about it because I don't give a shit. What is this?
Let's just approve the article.
Yeah, as trial approaches, judge may allow the men Calvert House shot to be called rioters or looters, but victim is... Oh, shit.
It's not even allowed.
Wow.
Yeah, that one was...
I mean, what's the... Defense lawyers maintain the young man... Yeah, they're going for a self-defense charge.
Let the evidence show what the evidence shows, that any or one of these people were engaged in arson, rioting, or looting, then I'm not going to tell the defense they can't call them that. That's what the Kenosha County Circuit Judge Bruce Schrader said.
Here's the weird... I mean, isn't that... I mean, they're technically all criminals because that night that it happened, there was a curfew, and all those people were breaking curfew from the get. So that's the angle they're playing. They're just playing the... Immediately, it's because it's after that. I have to go blow my nose. Can you hold on the fort?
Yeah. It's weird. Rittenhouse was 17 at the time. So he is being charged with, like, possession of a dangerous weapon. But he's pleading not guilty. But, like, it's weird. Like, that was a whole terrifying, like, just time. Because, like, not only was, like Kenosha just freaking out, I feel like people... looking in on Kenosha were freaking out at us. And it felt like this weird... I had a contradiction in my head of like, should I defend Kenosha from like fake news or like false representation? But at the same time I was like, well, I mean, we're broadcasted everywhere. Like we had people broadcasting live on Facebook, live on YouTube.
What
like,
are you talking about?
I'm talking about the broadcast of like that, that summer of, protests and stuff. And how after that, people were like just immediately like looking at Kenosha and, trying to call us out for things.
Also,
because of Rittenhouse.
This Schroeder has a long-standing rule of not allowing prosecutors to refer to people as victims at trials. So this kind of almost seems like a culture where, I mean, this is CNN. They're like, this is kind of a fucking... It's kind of misleading because if it's his rule that like in any case that we don't call
it's
people
clickbait.
Yeah,
it's clickbait.
But I've seen all these articles about because people are trying to make. I didn't even realize it till now that like this is like a culture war. Like
it's bullshit. Get this out. I don't want to. No. I don't want to fucking talk.
The meat here isn't in
Get
the
this
article.
fucking out of here.
The meat of the thing.
Can we do?
What?
You gobbled your last ghoul, Anthony Cuomo.
Silly garlic.
Oh.
Silly garlic knot.
You silly garlic. Listen.
Politics of Irish people. Oh, man.
Well, the last Irish guy we had as president was
killed. No, wait. Biden's Irish.
Is it?
Yeah. History repeats itself.
We can't.
I'm kidding.
We can't. We literally can't say that on the podcast. Yeah, here we go. Andrew Cuomo charged over alleged groping a former aide. Yes, disgraced ex-governor Andrew Cuomo was charged Thursday. He was charged.
In case people don't know, Cuomo is the governor of New York. I don't know how many people really follow that. Governor of New York. Yeah, he was, what did he do? He groped somebody?
Well, dude, talk about...
They call it inappropriate, or what they call it, forcible... What was it in that one article? Forcible touching.
He was fucking putting his fingers on the women's blouses.
Yeah, that's like assault.
I think it says in this
product placement. Dunkin'. Andrew Cuomo's trial, sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts.
Look at that, dude. That looks
and
like
the watch.
Dude, that looks like product. Right?
No, that is. There's no way that's
There's
not.
No way
really.
this picture's normal.
That's like too good of a photo.
Duncan's
also.
betting on the long-term comeback.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
We stuck with him.
We were here from the get. Dude, talk about the chickens coming home to roost.
Yeah.
I mean, the fucking... do you remember when everyone thought that like the nursing home thing was fake news and then it would turn out to be real? That they really were putting COVID patients in nursing homes and just emptying the nursing homes?
Like 8,000 plus people died because of that.
Dude, Cuomo's got a kill count, bro.
Dude, that's a kill count.
He's on the board.
Like, not that he shouldn't be underwater for this, but also...
He's got a kill count.
Let's let this open up the Pandora's box on Mr. Cuomo. Is his morning better with Duncan, by the way, on his way to the... I don't think his morning's better with...
Do you think he knows that he has... Do you think he like has acknowledged really that he has a kill count? Imagine having a kill count.
I think there's like... there's only so much like fun you can have with like trying to bury that and try to like just be a sociopath. It might be more fun to lean into that. And I mean, he's got the Joker eyes.
Is that his daughter?
He's like a Riddler.
Or his wife?
Or is that the woman that... I don't know.
Oh, Brittany.
Oh, that's the woman.
Yikes.
Brittany Commisso.
Look, man. Not good. You can't... Fuck these people. I mean, fuck these people. It's fine. Fuck all of them. What he did was a crime. He broke the law. Yeah, I don't know. Shoot him.
Definitely.
I don't know.
His life is crime.
Kill him.
His life is crime.
Maybe we'll just put him in the same jail cell that Epstein was in. See what happens.
Yeah. I think he should have been like a patsy. I feel like this is like not a good enough way for him to go. He should have been like played for something bigger.
Do you know why Andrew Cuomo exists?
No.
This is what happens when AIDS rewrote a report to hide a higher death toll. Yeah.
Right.
This shit with fucking... The difference was estimated to be as much as 3,000, dude.
Just the difference in what they reported.
You know what's crazy about this number? This is almost as many people who died on 9/11.
Yep.
Fucking insane. This dude's got a kill count of 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
But people won't
Plus.
acknowledge that.
Yeah, plus, like, definitely it's probably twice as much. I think that's what it says.
Yeah, it says that they put fatalities 50% higher than the figure that Cuomo.
Fucking
wow. Yeah, so he just lied. Like they just lied.
These
And
people
wrote
are
a book
rats.
about it, like how he wrote a book about how he how they saved the coronavirus, saved New York from the coronavirus.
We saved New York
and
from the
released this book
coronavirus
before all this came out. So.
Dude, Cuomo was like, Cuomo looked at his aides. He's like, I got to be honest with you. We're paying a lot to Social Security. We need to fucking take a little off the top.
Yeah. But you were talking
know what
about the
happens?
families? Is that what you're talking about? How,
No,
like,
the nursing homes.
no, I mean like with Cuomo, like is it? I feel like a problem is like, I mean, his brother's in
No.
news,
It's because this is what happens when fraternities go on check. This is what they make. You get what is it, Bryce? What do they call it?
Oh, they're calling it the red zone.
The red zone.
Welcome. To
I'm
the
really
Red Zone.
glad I'm really glad colleges went, what's a good football term? They make a football term for sexual assault. Love it. But this is what happens. You get all the fucking good old boys, and that's Cuomo's are their crime family. They're literally the good old boys. It's the good fellas. It's what they are. But when they get to a fucking place where Jamie Dimon gives them $1 billion fucking dollars and puts one in CNN. So you put one in CNN.
Yeah, Chris Cuomo.
You put one in CNN and you put one at the governor of New York.
Yeah. I mean, you got kind of you're stacked. You're stacking the deck, you know?
Can we get the Red
It's OP.
Zone article up? This shit's ridiculous. I mean,
It's
I fucking
fucked.
hate colleges. I mean, campuses are... So this was in September 23rd. So this is a little old. I think we're getting out of what they call it now.
In like
When's
November,
start?
I think November it starts.
But can I read the like campuses are in the red zone, in quotes. What that means in the fight against sexual assault. Really glad we gave it a name. The red zone, as it's called, is the most dangerous time of the year for campus sexual assault. More than 50% of assault occurs between August and November. Oh, no, so we're in it. Never mind. We're in it for a whole nother month. Good. That's good. Great. I'm glad we got it down to... Hey, I'm glad we got it down to 4 months. I'm glad it's only 4 months.
it's like a purge.
Right. I'm glad it's only 1/3 of the year. Good. Hey. 40,000. 40,000. Some places for 2 years, folks. I don't know what to tell you. It's 10,000 per year. What it stacks up to be. It's fucking horrendous.
Some are calling this year the double red zone, as both freshman and sophomore students return to campus after pandemic remote learning. We just love calling things. We love to like give things a name. We're
First
so
of all,
insecure.
Can we go on record before we go any further?
Yeah.
This is bad.
Yeah.
Like really bad.
No, yeah.
Like this isn't like, first of all, what is happening on American universities? What are we doing? Because I got to be honest with you. I met plenty of kids who graduated from college. I don't think it did any of them any good.
Right.
I mean, they're fucking...
And it does them even worse if they go there confused and they, get fucked up all the time. And then they end up like disregarding somebody else's like bodily sanctity, like destroying them.
Well, what a lot of this is, I mean, it's frats. It's so many of it. It's all frat. A lot of it is frats, and it's teachers. It's fucking professors. I mean, I'll call them out. UW La Crosse had that. They had a sexual assault from a teacher, from a professor. They didn't fire them, and they're not going to, because for whatever. Who would have thought? So hold the phone. Who would have thought when something? Hey, so let me get this straight. So you're telling me Facebook wants to keep its profitability and image in line, even though people are charging the Capitol building. So if you go to another market like the universities, the same thing happens. I can't believe it. I can't.
I don't.
Hey, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. That's what we're in. Because these universities, people are like, oh my God, my professor is so good. He just really opens my world. Fuck him and fuck you. They hate you. They steal your money. They want to make money off of you. And if you feel like you're going to kill yourself or if you're raped, they'll tell you to take a hike. Because then what they do is, if any of these things happen, is that they get the university's investigators involved because they want to downplay it. They don't want to find...
They're concerned about the image of themselves.
Yes, they
just
don't...
the way that Facebook is or any other big boy.
People wonder, like, how come when universities have these cases that the police aren't getting involved? Well, maybe because they want to make them go away. Because when they're, the star quarterback turns out to be a rapist, the one who's bringing all the people to the stadiums, they don't want those numbers to go down. They need those numbers to go up.
They don't want a whole thing. They don't want to be at because they know that like things like this are what puts people in the spotlight, and they don't want to be too much a part of like a negative cultural moment. But like everybody kind of is, but nobody's really innocent in this.
Look at this shit. 2 studies in 2007 and 2009 published in the NASPA journal suggest that fraternity members are more likely than non-fraternity members to commit rape. One of those studies found that women in sororities are 74% more likely to experience rape than any other college women.
Oh my fuck.
So I have a plan. It involves scissors and a few ropes. I know how to solve this problem. And I'll get it done.
Walk me through it, please.
Well,
allegedly.
This is a satirical podcast.
It's in the title.
Listen, we know frat bros.
Yeah.
We know frat bros that got kicked off the college campus. Because, hey guys, listen, let me just this goes to all my frat guys out there. Listen, I know you guys like to be a little secretive about what you do. I know at the end of the day, you guys talk about, we can't talk about, what our hazing really is. And I know you guys are doing a little, come on, do a little cum cracker, maybe a little. It's just a little gay. Hey, I have nothing against that.
It's 2021.
Listen,
almost 20.
I gotta be honest with you, Jared. Can I be honest with you?
Yes.
If one of the frat guys at Jared at UW La Crosse came to me and be like, "Hey, it gets a little queer," I'd be like, "I gotta be honest, I'm more excited."
Where do I sign?
Where do I sign? Listen, that's what a lot of this is. It's a dominance thing. Some people get pegged in the ass. The seniors.
That's a little homoerotic. Like, it's fine.
It's
like,
hot.
that's good. Like, it's good.
They should just be open about it. But here's the thing.
Sexuality is
then
fluid.
It doesn't become secretive. But here's the problem, is that when all these frat guys grow up and they go, "Hey, Maddie, I had to tell you something. When we met in college, me and the frat guys, our sacred fraternity, I gotta be honest, I sucked a dick. Maddie, I sucked a dick once, and I gotta be honest, I kind of liked it." And they're gonna be so surprised when their wife turns to them and goes, "You know what? That's really cool. I'm proud of you." And then she's going to go, one time I had the whole football team run a train on me.
Marriage saved.
Marriage saved.
Truth and reconciliation.
Listen, so to all my frat bros out there, you don't need to do anything. Leave the women alone because I'll come and get you. And I don't mean in that way, but I mean like, let's ban these things from campuses. But here's the thing.
Exactly.
It's because they're all part of the secret order of like making this weird networking thing. And my dad knows your dad. And then we'll give money to the school. And we'll not, then it's so weird because their dad would be like, my kid's going to go to my old fraternity and he's going to get fucked in the ass. And I'm proud of him, because that's what it is. They make them they drink. They do like homoerotic things. They take pictures of each other's dicks and they blackmail each other. I mean,
that's like we. That's like dark.
No, I know, but that's what's happening.
It looks exactly like what.
And then,
like Skull and Bones.
Yeah, well, that's where that goes on up the ladder.
That's much, when things get real, because what people don't understand is that fraternities are truly what fraternities are to see if you can keep secrets or not. Because guess what? When you get if you're really friends with powerful people and you get really high up in a company. They want you, if you know that you're putting, hey, let's just say, chemicals that might give women cancer in their baby powder. You keep your mouth shut. You keep it
or you
die. Or you die. Like, like one of the greatest vaccine makers of our time right now, Johnson & Johnson. So, listen, if you're willing to, and I'm telling you, if you look up the CEOs of the Fortune 500 companies in this country, I'm going to tell you the majority of them were in fraternities. You will find the majority of them were in fraternities, and the majority of them are probably borderline sociopaths and have a great ability to keep secrets, because that's what it is at universities for fraternities for privileged, really white guys. Let's be honest, it gets real racial real quick when it comes to fraternities. Is to keep the status quo. So what we should do is end them, and anyone we find out raped someone, Guantanamo Bay.
Something like that.
Or maybe a black site in the Middle East. I don't know.
But we have contradicting kind of things going on, though, with frats, because on one hand, the image of frat bros is somewhat dumb. It's somewhat primitive. On the other hand, we also have an image of frat bros that is deceitful, dangerous, abusive, and those things exist together because not everybody who's was Zuckerberg in a frat? Do we know if he was in a frat? What did the movie tell us?
He was in like this weird, he wanted to join this bigger club, but again, when you're in Harvard, you're like in a big frat.
You're
in
the frat.
You're in the belly of the beast. But here's the thing. This might be a bold statement. The one of many on this podcast so far. Fraternities really are the worst parts of capitalism. Because what it really comes down to is fraternities are the same argument that so many people have for not integrating Boy Scouts. Why do we need boys to learn how to only work with boys in the year 2021 when the rest of their lives are working with every other gender in the book? How does that make any sense? Well, boys need to learn how to be boys. No, boys need to learn how to be humans. We need to learn how to respect each other. We need to learn how to work with each other. We need to learn how to respect each other's identities.
And how to or at least how to care for each other in a sense. Right. How to provide for each other in the ways that we need to provide for each other.
Yeah, people are like, well, men need to be this and that. I'm like, well, actually, a lot of people need to, because a lot of it's like, well, men need to learn how to be like aggressive when it's necessary. Actually, kind of everybody needs to learn that. Actually, everybody needs to learn how to.
Weak people are a problem. It's not just weak men, weak people. Like spineless people are a problem.
Right.
We see that on. I mean, I love some of our friends, but some of them that are more on that side of it, like. I don't trust them a lot of the times because they have this link to this kind of like personality,
right?
That is it's not even just hyper masculine. Like it's something kind of else. It's some sort of weird personal projection of wanting to be a part of something, wanting to have an identity. It's a crisis of their identity.
It's a crisis. We're not teaching people how to fight for themselves.
How to form an identity.
Teaching people how to. We obviously we fucked up, and with fraternities, what they are doing are abusing the broken parts of our society and putting it in a hyper degenerative, hyper toxic masculine place, and then pushing those people in the workforce, and then making those environments worse. And then they're like, well, why do I have to go through racial sensitivity training? That's what happens. What do you mean? What do you mean I gotta go through sexual assault?
It's like because you only went to white parties in college, okay?
You don't know, and it is that,
and they're not just being pushed in the workforce too. We gotta realize that a lot of times people are making connections on campus, say like relationships. So you're pushing people with that mentality, with that personality, lifestyle into a marriage possibly, or like a 22-year-old dating somebody, like that's weird, a weird thing to like have, people culminated this relationship within that horrible environment, and then they have to like escape from it. It's almost like you're in a cult.
It's a cult.
It is like you're in like a JW,
It's a cult of personality.
Yeah.
We just need to make the right cults. That's what people forget.
Yeah.
They're gonna come.
Right cults are good.
That's what this country is. It's a cult. We just got to make sure we have the right ones. No, it's true. People we like identities. We like patterns. In a way, we have to choose our oppressor. No, I know that sounds ridiculous, but
no, just whenever you say that, I picture like 1984 and like telling them to like choose their oppressor.
But you have to choose the person who's going to be at the top of the hierarchy.
But those people are already there. Like there's no taking them down. I don't think, like, unless through, I don't know,
climate change, because eventually
I choose that oppressor.
Climate change will be one of those things where eventually a lot of people who are at the top of the pyramid will go, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not worth it. It's not fun anymore. There's not enough kids in Epstein's Island. There's not enough.
There's no kids on Mars. I mean, when they, you're gonna have a hard time keeping kids on Mars. Yeah, Epstein's planet.
Welcome to the new.
Little Saint Mars, Little Saint Jupiter. That'd be good. I'd like that one.
What do we have for time?
We're at like 48 minutes.
Damn,
cool.
Dude, this went by.
Yeah.
This was a fun podcast. Yeah. We talked about real scary things on this one.
Yeah, that's the kind of point. That's the point. We haven't really scared ourselves in a while.
No.
But honestly, like, because I feel like I've been living in this weird middle ground between like the drunks of Kenosha, the fun scene, and then like the dark shit that we talk about, like this kind of shit. Right. And I'm like walking around almost getting too jaded. Like nobody knows that Blackwater, that like Whitney Webb wrote an article about NAFTA, and you know what I mean. But now we get to actually we got to dive into the dark shit more.
Listen,
I really need it.
Everyone used to, Halloween's like this weird pagan holiday, but everyone just gets candy. But truly, if you're awake, every day is the scariest day to be alive. That's the truth. It's the truth. But that makes life a little more beautiful. Because
it does, actually.
In the moments where you get to share very loving interactions with people, in the moments that you get to share true innocence or vulnerability, it makes those moments a lot better. That is truly why it's bad to be a doomer. It's not bad to educate yourself on the horrendous things going on around the world, the horrendous history of the United States, the horrendous history of a lot of places around the world. A lot of people don't want to learn about those things because they think it's going to make them depressed. Mm-hmm. It makes you depressed if you let those ideas take over your mind in that way. But what it really does is that you go, there's a lot of dark forces out there. There is a lot of people who truly don't care about you, who hold amazing amounts of power and wealth.
Yeah.
But every day that you may feel small, you have a chance to give a little that in the end maybe will amount to a lot. And hopefully that little that you give is love and friendship and holding the people who are close to you and telling them that they're important to you, because that truly is, that's what's important. I know on this podcast we get a little negative, but at the end of the day, when we started this podcast, that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm. We're still trying to keep it about that. We're demonstrating with our podcast what we should probably what doomers failed to do, and that is to wake up to some of the horrible things going on,
right,
and not let that become, one, your entire personality, and two, not let that not let that become your identity in the sense where that's the only thing that you feel matters.
Right. A lot of people do.
And there's so many reasons for that. I mean, if you get a podcast, things start to get better. But
they do.
But there I saw a chart the other day. It was like a chart on TikTok. This person was going through this idea about offsetting like the dark energy of the world with like a certain ratio of light energy, of like positivity and love, and like how much positive energy is needed to offset a certain number of negative energies.
Right.
And it was like they counterbalance each other. Like it does start to balance things out if enough people kind of do that. And that's where like doomers, I think, are really just sad and, ignorant.
Well, we're calling doomers, but right now we're talking about a lot of America. A lot of America are feeding a lot of people
I say
in
doomer
America.
Just to mean like a mentality of like nihilism, like a just a feeling a void.
Where a lot of people are feeding into a very negative machine, and it's affecting their lives more than they think.
We're not going to be able to save everybody. I think that's a sad reality, but it's also like at least we can save some. Like we're going to be able to save people. Like as a society, we might be able to save enough people from that mentality, from the machine, from all this. But there's going to be a certain percentage of people who are not going to be able to shake it, or who aren't going to be able to fight it, who aren't going to be able to. And like I'm not saying that's how you. Like, that's not accepting defeat from them. That's just like allowing for like other variables that could prevent them from actually becoming a positive person.
Right.
Or changing their life.
Well, we need more. We need more community, in a real sense.
Yeah.
TV, TikTok, a lot of these YouTube channels, they're not. Some of them have communities that are more positive than others, but a lot of it is just horseshit at the end of the day. A lot of it's like, you get the clip of Bill Maher saying the important thing that he said. Oh my God. And you're like, I'm on the right side of history. It's like, who cares? Truly. Because guess what? Do you know what money and love have in common with each other, Jared?
Yes.
You lose both of them when you die.
That's correct.
So
you lose both of them.
You lose both of them.
It's no longer yours when you die.
And
yours.
You get to make that choice.
We were never meant to collect life.
No.
We're just meant to live it.
You're not supposed to go about collecting the people that you love. Collecting kids, collecting a marriage, collecting a house, collecting a car, collecting the job, the degree, Because what happens when you go through your life collecting things is that the most important part of your life, which is when it comes to an end, you'll try to collect that too. And you'll find that
you miss it.
You'll miss it.
It runs away.
Because it's never something you could have collected.
Just as life was never something you could have collected.
Right.
It's the same thing. You realize that, my mind is out of my life. My mind is not my life.
Right.
You collected your mind too.
You're supposed to live and have moments of openness and vulnerability and true innocence, and try to be bigger than a lot of the negative things happening in the world. And sometimes it may feel that the negative things happening in the world are encroaching upon your life so much that you can't escape them. And maybe that is the case. But then the next thing you need to think about is that you're definitely not alone. And hopefully,
most of that isn't real. Like most of that truly isn't like the Facebook Meta thing is real, but
It's not.
But it's not real, because after this, we're done talking about it. We're gonna go get like food at Ron's or some shit. Like, we're gonna go move on.
Who cares?
It's not even like a thing.
Let it happen.
So much else is. We gotta turn it. We gotta turn everything off. You know what I mean? We gotta like really let it go. We're holding on to this, like maybe we can really like transcend with technology or with our culture. What's the rush?
Right.
Like, if this place we're trying to get to is so great, we want to get as many people there as possible. What's the rush?
Right.
And why? What is this whole believing in? Like, we're very desperate to believe in somebody or something that's going to get us there. And I think we need to let that go.
A lot of it is just that maybe people should start giving them more credit than they're giving themselves.
For sure.
And treat themselves, truly treat themselves like someone who loves them would treat them.
Mm.
You know? So
a lot of people haven't heard a lot of that, you know, in their life.
And hopefully we can say a little bit of it. Hopefully, hopefully people who are listening to this realize that a lot of the people who maybe feel the way you do are out there and they can connect in some way, and hopefully in some way or another we can bring a lot of those people together in the same place, and maybe we can start seeing some real world change to that. But in the meantime, it would seem that the powers that be are very strong. But listen, you know the song, "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised."
Right, because it's a psychological revolution.
A lot of people thought that meant when like the BLM stuff was happening, they're like, this isn't the real revolution, it's on CNN. It's like, that was never what that song's about. The revolution starts in your mind.
Well, it's really only that in
Right.
a sense. Like, it's the only true revolution that can actually happen is psychological. Everything else is a trap. Everything else is a
Identity,
is a
ideology.
It's the wrong plane to have the fight on.
Right.
Ideology, and even the core of ideology comes from the physical world.
Right.
The response to life comes from the psychological realm, from your spiritual self. And like, if there's any one of my friends who's listening right now, and you've done something bad in your life, like, you haven't ruined your relationship with yourself to, like, you can still be you. You can still, like...
Well, you still deserve, as much as you deserve maybe the punishments of what you've done, you also deserve to forgive yourself at the end of the day. So
you also deserve to die and live.
Right.
Like, and be you for that. And you know what I mean?
Let's end the podcast on this note. For many of us who are in this position of being very youthful, for maybe a lot of their life ahead of you, truly for some of us, don't have a lot of life ahead of them. They don't even know
Bryce is like 45.
I'm almost there, man. I'm almost dead.
I almost croaked.
My only suggestion to you is that you either, if you're going to exist within this machine, find a way to run away and escape, and call it that. Or be prepared to fight for your life. And if you're going to stay and fight for it, actually do it.
Do it because you believe that you want to make a real life on the other side of that.
Right.
That there is a life to be made with others on the other side of that. That's the only way we're going to get out of this. That's the only way.
And with that,
Happy
Happy Halloween.
Halloween.
Goodbye.